Today on the channel, hide your teeth, hide your grandmas, as we got one of 500 editions of the big rubber guys in the house with Danhausen and the nature boy, Ric Flair.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Big Rubber Guys unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got two 1 of 500 figures with Danhausen and the nature boy, Ric Flair. But for all your Big Rubber Guy needs, better hit up Collect Major. That's where I picked both of these up for. I don't think they're in stock anymore. You'll have to check. Your mileage may vary, especially depending when you're watching this video here. But these were originally earmarked to be New York Comic-Con exclusives for 2025. Something happened with delays in shipping. We know how that goes. And these did get delayed, and they did go up on Collect Major. 1 of 500 editions. Pretty cool. Now, we've had these before. Got the most out of our molds. Got a repaint here. Danhausen, nice to see another version of Danhausen. Ric Flair, it's going to be interesting. Have they got to the end of this mold? Have we got enough versions of this Ric Flair? I hope so. I'm not against more Ric Flair figures, but I would like a different look for Ric Flair. Can we get something where he's like cutting and strutting like a young Brutus Beefcake? Maybe something like that along the way. I don't know, but this Ric Flair we've seen enough times, but I do like this one here, the green and yellow attack, the Oakland A's version, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but we're going to start it off with the man, the myth, the legend, the Danhausen is what we're going to see right here. Danhausen making it happen, never met a toy line he didn't like, as we do know. But I do like this one. Looks interesting in the black. Can't wait to dive into this. Now, you do got the 1 of 500 sticker there. That is a cool addition by the major team here. I believe they said, one of them said, maybe it was even a good friend of the channel, Don't Panic, It's Canic. Maybe he said, hey, you put a 500 sticker on here, it flies a little bit faster. That is true, and it gives a little extra pizzazz to these figures. So I like that. It's very cheap to do, and heck, if it makes you sell units faster, it's definitely worth it. And I love the teeth aspect here for Danhausen. Danhausen looking good down over there. Danhausen, big rubber guy, of course, looking good in the packaging. Nothing on the side, nothing really on the side. On the back, you got the heck of a cross sell. You know I love a cross sell, but man, that's a wild one. Huge checklist back here. Looks crazy. It almost reminds you of like old baseball cards back in the day. You'd get that checklist card. You'd be like, man, what a checklist. Are you kidding me? But it kind of gives you that vibe a little bit here. Removable packaging on these. We know it. We love it. We want some more of it. And I guess Danhausen jumping right out of the package right away. And I do save my packaging on these. I don't know if I'm going to have to build an extension on my house. I'd really like to finish my attic. Maybe I get done with that one of these days, and that could be another room. Who knows? But I do save my packaging off to the side. A gentle see you later, goodbye. Now we're diving into Danhausen here. And man, I feel cursed just looking at him. Looking good. You got the black and white face paint here. A little bit more evil with this Danhausen. Very nice, very evil. Well, very evil right here as you got the blood over the face. Looking good. Perfect for Halloween here. We just missed it, though. You get the Danhausen hair in the back, and then you got the, dare I say, black face. Luckily, he covered it with the white face over the top there. Got the nice shiny teeth. Got to have those teeth. Got to keep those on point. But I do like the blood splatter in the paint. That looks really good. Then you get down to the topless Danhausen. Quite the physique on Danhausen. He's been working out, as we can see. He's cursing us here. I like that positioning. I like that posing, looking good. And then you got Danhausen's tattoos on there, looking very nice. Black pants down here, but you got zippers all over the place. He's ready to store some stuff if he needs to. You never know what he might be hiding in those zippers. Maybe some teeth, maybe some teeth. Black boots on him as well. Major on the bottom, collectmajor.com, 2025 big rubber guys. Looks like Danhausen. Kind of feel like we've been here before because we have. We got the red version. So man, oh man, two different versions. Same figure, but gosh, I tell you what, I like how colorful this one is with the red. However, there's something simple about the plain black, and then you add the evil face paint there. I don't know. I think they're both must-haves. Very cool, though. Boy, it's crazy. It's so funny when you get the same figure but painted differently, and it's like the same but not the same. Blowing my mind here today. I don't know. But there it is. Old Danhausen. Will he stand? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, why won't this one stand? That's one thing I'd say about the LJNs or these. They got to make sure they always stand. And this one is fighting me, so I don't like that a whole lot. There we go. Maybe it's my table. Maybe it's my table. But Danhausen's here. He's ready for the back rake. He's ready for the eye rake. Gonna poke you in the eye like a Three Stooges maybe. Clothesline. There's a few moves you can do with this one. Some DDTs, all kinds of stuff. So not a bad showing out here for Danhausen. There we go. He's ready to go. He's ready to rock and roll, strut and stroll as we go over to the Nature Boy. One of my all-time favorites, easily on my Mount Rushmore. A favorite of mine in the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Once again, from the Collect Major group, the Big Rubber Guys. We've had quite a few of Ric Flairs over the last, how long has it been? 2 years? What is time once again? But we got another one here. He's rocking those Oakland A's colors. He was partying hard. I think Tom McFarland, you told me all about this. Tom McFarland on the couch, ladies and gentlemen. He was partying hard with the A's back in the 70s. Now, I partied with those 80s A's when I was like 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. Those are my A's years. But Rick, he was rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling with Reggie Jackson, Vida Blue, Raleigh Fingers. He was living that dream. And him and Raleigh, oh, you know, that's where he got some of his famous sayings, actually, from Raleigh Fingers once upon a time. I think Raleigh Fingers was the one that said, no hair, no flair. He said, Rick, you got to use that. And then he did in the future, as we know. But Rick, looking good. You got the 1 of 500 belt sticker. I like it. It's different than Danhausen's. I like the uniqueness feature there. I think that's a lot of fun. Ric Flair down here rocking the green and yellow Oakland A's attack once again. Looking good in all the packaging. I like what I see here. On the back, got that checklist. Got that Big Rubber Guys. Got all that stuff going on. Looking crazy on the back here. Paul Ellering coming around the corner. Kerry Von Erich's got to be here really quick. You got the Macho Man USA edition, Knobs and Sags. Can't wait for those. Can't wait for that ECW line. Part of me is hoping there's going to be variants in the ECW line where they're bloody editions. Part of me for my wallet hopes there is not going to be that. But I could see that. We got to get the most out of our molds. We know how it goes. You're going to hear that a lot with these unboxings. There's old Nature Boy. He stayed in the packaging a little bit better than Danhausen. There we go. Slide that back in. I will save this packaging, so I'm going to give it a gentle off to the side. See you later. Goodbye. And now we're diving into Ric Flair. Woo! That's what he's saying right there at the top. Got the long blonde hair. It's the Ric Flair we've seen numerous times already. Got a nice positioning here of his hands here. It's just Ric Flair. Drink it in, ladies. That's what he's saying at the bar. A lot like Charlotte Flair likes to do the same pose these days. Got the green trunks on him here. You got the RF down there looking very good. Got the green knee pads. Always love that they're down below the knees looking nice there. And then you got the yellow boots with the RF on the side. Stands for Ric Flair for those keeping track at home. Looking very, very nice. I'm ready for this mold to be retired, though. Hopefully this is the last one. But once again, I'm excited. If they want to do more Ric Flairs, I'd be here for that. I could take a few more Ric Flairs. I would almost like to see another Ric Flair in a suit, maybe from a different era or something. We'll see. But Ric Flair looking good. Obviously, no articulation on this one. We know how it goes. And will he stand? My table's apparently uneven today. I guess I just got to get him in the right spot, maybe. I don't know. But got the Nature Boy ready to go. Maybe. There we go. Hey, he's officially standing here. How about a little Ric Flair comparison? But let's compare it to Hulk Hogan LJN. How do we feel about that comparison? Does that look good? Does that look great size-wise? The dream matchup once upon a time. No doubt about it. Not a bad piece of business. Obviously, the Hulkster is bigger than Ric Flair, so he should be at least. So we got that. Now we do got many versions of this Ric Flair over the last, once again, a couple years. Can't remember. Now I do wish this Ric Flair came with the title belt. I think that is a bit of a miss. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't come with that. But now we've got 4 Ric Flairs right here ready to go. And then you got a 5th one in a suit. This one, very unfortunate, will not stand worth anything at all. That's pretty disappointing, but is what it is once again. But how about that? 5 Ric Flairs. As we say it, and I've said it 10 times in this video, you got to get the most out of your molds. You got to get the most out of your talent contracts. And Ric Flair's not a cheap guy. I'm guessing if you had to put the dollars down, that Danhausen a little bit cheaper to produce than Ric Flair. Ric Flair's going to charge you an arm and a leg and maybe get a watch out of you along the way. So they're going to do that. They're going to get as much as they can out of Ric Flair. It makes a lot of sense. That's where I kind of hold out hope a little bit for a new mold for Ric Flair in the future. But once again, I'm biased. He's one of my favorites, so I'd like to see more Ric Flairs. But I can see a lot of people, maybe the majority of people saying, we're good with Ric Flair. Dial it back. Let's get some more characters. I understand that as well. But this one here, not bad. 1 of 500 repaint editions. If you want it, you could have grabbed it. If you didn't want it, it's an easy pass. I think this is the way to do it. If they only made 1 of 500 and they only had one Ric Flair and one Danhausen, I think people would be up in arms. But this being a repaint, the 5th Ric Flair, I think we're okay. But 1 of 500, it is collectible, no doubt. But fun ones here, Danhausen, Ric Flair. Never thought I'd unbox these two together in an unboxing video, but here we are, 2025 continues to be wild. But what's your thoughts on this Ric Flair and Danhausen? Did you pick these up? Did you buy each of these? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day, and then some. We got even more content for you on Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, if that's your thing. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and The Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which conveniently enough is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, each and every Tuesday, wherever podcasts are found with video cast on YouTube. So for Danhausen and Ric Flair, see you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?